Recap here August 5th, 2025 on the RSVP button for MailChimp. So we're going to get into it. If you have any questions about this particular video, you can go to calendarsnack.com, follow the instructions there and get a calendar snack, and it'll walk you through this process here. Essentially, you're using your calendar client, talking to the Calendar Snack app. The Calendar Snack app itself is talking to something we built called the AWS Calendar Invite Server. It's a set of APIs that make all this stuff go. When you zoom way out, what we're doing is calendar invites for marketing and transactional use cases. This series is focused around RSVP buttons. The buttons are using the data set from the Major League Baseball series for the games. There's about 2,200 games I have loaded into the AWS Calendar Invite Server to basically do these demos. We're all about getting on the calendar first and then working backwards with communications and promotions. This whole thing is based on an API set that we built. We have several of them, but the main character in this story is the Calendar Invite API. The Calendar Invite API we built in particular matches a UID, so the particular part for your specific event, to an email address and sends out the calendar invitation, and we track all that good data. Now, you can stop the video. Obviously, you're watching this on Tube. You can stop it and kind of see the outline if you want. I'm not going to go through it. So the quick cheat sheet is about 5 minutes. I can do these in 3 minutes because I'm a pro user. But essentially, you're going to use your calendar client to actually create the event, update the event, or cancel the event. Once you do that and send your invite data to our service, you're going to get a notification email back to the email of the address of the calendar client. So it's a linear process. So the email rockets back to the calendar client's email you use for the service itself. You can use any calendar client, Google or Outlook. You're going to log into CalendarSnap to get the RSVP button code and insert it into MailChimp. You're going to send out your MailChimp campaign with this call to action button inserted into it. This call to action button essentially is our API, and the API matches the email address and sends out the calendar invite to track. You're going to use the Calendar Snack dashboard to track the RSVPs from your MailChimp customers. And that is kind of a critical part of this demo. And then the more advanced is to change and save calendar invite information on the calendar client to send promotions to the customers who have received a calendar invite from the MailChimp call to action button. You're going to use the Calendar Snack dashboard once again to track the promotions and response. So to get going, it's real simple. This here is so Greg at 31 Events is the organizer. So in the story, I'm part of the story. I pulled out my personal calendar client. I put a new calendar event on it. I saved it as new. It sent it to this create at calendarsnack.com pipeline. In the pipeline, it was new. Essentially what it is a simple email service box from AWS. And what we do to start that process is we disassemble this calendar invite on your behalf, and then we store it for recall later for the button. So specifically, that's how the workflow works. Once you do that, you're going to receive a Calendar Snack notification back from our service. It's automated, and you as the organizer of the event, me here in the story is the organizer. I received a Calendar Snack notification back to Greg Hanshin at 31events.com. So once I do that, I can log into the Calendar Snack app, talking to the AWS Calendar Invite server, and then these APIs communicate and then serve up the data here. So I see this calendar invite information off of my personal calendar client. Again, I'm part of the story, so I'm in the story as the organizer over here. I sent the data in, we processed it, and now I logged into my organizer dashboard. Greg Hanshin at 31 Events is the organizer over here in the story for the organizer dashboard, and then I can see the data right here. So in first step, in step 3, I challenge everyone to essentially do this. You don't have to. If your calendar invite data here is in here and you view it and you like it, you don't need to do anything. But what we do is try to walk you through a workflow here as part of the story. So that's what I'm doing. So Greg Hanchen at 31 Events is the organizer. I went back into the original calendar client with this particular event. I added this, stop by our surprise vendor. I'm not going to read all through this, but I inserted basically this promotion into the calendar client, which I used, and I added it and I saved it, and it reprocessed the data, and then we step up the data here into update 1. So this is update 1. This is communicating with my dashboard, which is Greg Hanchen at 31 Events, is the organizer of the calendar snack. So I just updated the dashboard just by simply manipulating the data on my personal calendar invite used originally through the create at calendarsnack.com, talking to the gateway. So once you do that, you can go into the RSVP buttons. You can grab the code for the MailChimp. Now, we do 50 integrations with various email platforms. By far, MailChimp, Klaviyo, and SendGrid are the big three. They're sending almost 8 trillion emails, if you get your head around that, a year. So this button insert's a big deal. You go to RSVP button, you go to MailChimp, and then once you go there, you can grab the code. So prior to grabbing the code, though, you're going to have to configure a RSVP landing page. So this is called a redirect page in the business. So I usually just default to this one. Any more upcoming events are going to show up here in this splash page. You'll work through it and kind of better understand it. If you have no upcoming events, it's going to just show this calendar invites on its way as a redirect page. Now the code is right here. I went into the LA Dodgers versus the Cardinals. I copied this code here in step 4, and I inserted it into the call to action buttons here in the MailChimp template, and then I saved it. And after I saved it, after inserting the call to action buttons, the calendar invite API here from this copied link, they are saved, and then I sent out the MailChimp campaign here in number 4. So what happened in number 4 is I sent it out, and then you see here in number 4, from 4 to 4 here, is essentially the MailChimp workflow. It's a simple workflow, which you've been doing as a campaign manager. It stays the same. It just has our calendar invite API built in here, so when someone clicks it, they're going to specifically get a calendar invite for Dodgers versus the Cardinals in the story. So that's what happens here in the story. In step 5, MailChimp campaign is sent out to the list with the calendar invite embedded in the RSVP button. So that's Zach now in the storyline. Zach is receiving this because he was on the MailChimp campaign list, and he received the calendar invite embedded into this page right here. He clicks the button, and then he gets the calendar invite. So this is Zach over here in the story. Painted in the story is now Zach as a character. He's on the MailChimp list. What Zach gets in between getting this calendar invite is he gets routed. So here's the active routing going on, and he's notified your calendar invite is on its way. In the middle here, we're saying Zach at techvader.com has been sent the calendar invite. So we give a notification up here in the splash page. There's a promotion here. And then if Zach wants, he can get these other calendar invites sent to him, which are part of the organizer story. So the organizer data set back to me, Greg Hanchen at 31 Events, is I had this data inside the calendar snack panel here. So I have all this data in here. So all the upcoming events are going to be dragged along if you want in a redirect, or you can do your own redirect page. So what Zach does, he says maybe to this event, and then what happens is we actually collect this data talking to the AWS API services in which we've built. This calendar receipt now is collected from Zach at TechVader, who was on the MailChimp email list. So any changes that Zach does to his calendar, we are granularly picking that data up and then updating it here in our APIs. You can see that the update was 1, and it was a MailChimp campaign. So this is the data coming back from the calendar receipts from somebody that's in the MailChimp email list. So what happens if the organizer wants to add or cancel the MailChimp event that a customer has already sent an RSVP to? So this is the advanced use case where Greg Hanshin, who is the organizer of this event, uses his personal calendar client and adds a promotion and saves the event. He's using the same create command. This is the same client, but in this case here, you see the first update is here. This is the second update. So what he does is he updates his original calendar client with the new data. He saves it, and the API gateway goes out and saves and stores that information in the database. So Greg Hanshin logs into the Calendar Snack app. He can see that this data here has been updated. Now what happens automatically is under the auto mode, we actually send out the calendar invite with the new information on it to any customer that has received the previous calendar invite. And so what we do here is insert that new message, and we send it out to anybody downstream that's already clicked the MailChimp campaign button and got the calendar invite on their personal calendar client. And then we're tracking this as update number 2. You see that there, update number 2. So that's kind of a very important part of our technology and what separates us. So what Zach from the MailChimp list, email list, is part of the storyline sees, he sees an updated calendar invite in the box here. So in 7 in workflow, he's going to see this term here updated. So this event's been updated on his behalf. He's part of the MailChimp campaign. He received the calendar invite by clicking the call to action button in the MailChimp campaign. And the flow here is he'll get the email for the update. It's going to auto update his calendar invitation inside his calendar. The data will be inserted in there, and then that data here will be on his personal Google Calendar, and he will see it on mobile or obviously a laptop. The point is now is that if this new information here gets him to change his overall RSVP status, we're going to pick this up over here under update number 2 and then track this data down here. Thanks for hanging in there on this demo.